Well, hello everyone, Texie88 here and welcome to another review. And now I'm taking a look at the ZX Spectrum port of Pac-Land, which came out in 1989, is a coin-op conversion of the Namco arcade game of the same name. It came out for the 48K and 128K Spectra, although only the latter version has the in-game music. The 48K version lacks that, unfortunately. So just get this going. Player one ready, trip one. So the largely monochrome from. Oh dear, that didn't even touch me. So I've discovered bad hit detection. Oh, see again, there's no noticeable gap between the front of that aeroplane and Pac-Man. The sprites are well drawn, I have to admit, even though they had to sacrifice the colour for reasons I've already gone into on previous Spectrum reviews. Oh dear, that's slowing down a bit. Oh, what do you? And as you can see, unlike the original arcade version that scrolled, this version's flip screen. Oh, for goodness sake, I didn't touch that. The graphics are well drawn, even though they're admittedly not coloured in. That's kind of annoying, the fact that it doesn't scroll, because I would have been able to chase after those ghosts. I also like the way that Pac-Man's hat sort of flies off as he sinks down from a jump. Well, that's then gobbled up. It's not as fast as the original arcade version, but anyone expecting an absolutely arcade perfect 8-bit conversion of arcade machine, that's asking a bit much, especially for the humble old Specky. But gameplay wise, it's not too bad. It's just a shame that it's got some pretty crap hit detection. Music's really good too. Break times. I've reached the end of this stage. Unfortunately, it looks as if Pac-Man's hat doesn't fly off and have that sort of Tinkerbell style fairy flying out, which is, like, mind you, that doesn't really impact on the gameplay any. So, oh god, I hate the fact that's another. Oh, I didn't touch that. That really is good music. Let's have another go. Yeah, so as I said, the 48K Spectrum would have played much the same, but it would not have had this in-game music. It would have just been silent. Oh god! And this is unfortunately not one of those games in which you can change your direction mid-jump. So once you're doing a jump to the right, you have to wait until he's fully landed before you can change direction. Well, you can sort of slow him down as he descends, but that's the closest you can get to actually being able to change your direction in mid-air. No point chasing after them. By the time I got there, I would have gone on to the next screen and they would have gone. That's another sad loss of not having scrolling from the original. So you got sound effects for the car. Oh, for God's! That's another problem with it being flip screen rather than scrolling. Had it been scrolling, I would have been able to see that car coming sooner. But because of the flip screen, it means I'm denied that. Oh, God, that was lucky. All things considered, this port could have been a lot worse. I think my biggest gripe with it is that collision detection. Oh, how am I going to get past that? Yeah. And another thing, that you can actually crash into cacti because... Look, there's a great big gap between Pac-Man and that bloody car. Yeah. I'm not overly bothered about the fact it's not as quick as its arcade original. My biggest complaint with it is, as I said, the hit detection. That bad hit detection is a real problem. Oh, I was getting quite some way there. Well, at least it doesn't always start you right. It seems to tend to only start you from the very beginning if you've made absolutely no progress at all. A little bit of slowdown there. There's too much on the screen. Come on, the Spectrum can handle lots of things on the screen. I've seen it handle more on this screen without that kind of slowdown. That's not great. Every time I approach the edge of a screen, I get terrified. I always worry that something's just going to suddenly appear off screen, from off screen, just as I'm about to exit it. Right, made it to the end of this stage. Coolio. Graphics are the backgrounds are fairly simplistic. Oh god, here we go. Oh my god, there's actually... What? I stopped! So there's a little bit of momentum on Pac-Man. Okay, I better bear that in mind. One more go. It's just a shame that it doesn't scroll. And it's even more of a shame about that bad hit detection. Oh! Oh! I never know whether it's going to be a plane or the car. And according to what I've read in the instructions, there's no fairyland. There's no fairyland sequence at the end of the main 8-bit computer on this version, nor the MSX Norse Amstrad CPC version due to machine limitations. Oh God! I shouldn't misjudge the distance between me and that plane, didn't I? Come on, get on. Come on, eat you. What? I didn't touch that. Look at that great big gap. The hitboxes in this are horrendous. It's just a shame if it scrolled like the original arcade version and had better hit detection. I don't think I could massively complain about it, but that hit detection is a real problem, and so is that occasional slowdown. I don't think I can give this an 8. I definitely can't give it a 9. This is my last life. See, look how much that's slowing down. It's such a shame. And the music's really good. It really does feel very arcadey. Oh God, bloody hell! Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Yeah. the monochrome, the largely monochrome, the limited colour was expected because of colour clash avoidance. So I was expecting that, if the truth be told. Oh, come off it! I didn't even touch that. So that's Pac-Land for the ZX Spectrum. It's not an atrocious port, but it does have some problems. Graphics, the sprites are well drawn, and they if you ignore the lack of colour, then they pretty much resemble their arcade counterparts. And they're well animated for the most part. Is a shame that the game flips rather than scrolls. Backgrounds are a bit plain looking, but I guess having too much more detail would have made the game too hard to see what was going on. So that's the graphics out of the way. Sound, nice sound effects, and the music's really good. I can't really fault the sound at all. It's very suitably arcadey and charming, just like you'd expect from a game featuring Pac-Man. Can't really complain about it, the sound. But bear in mind, if you're playing the 48K version, there's not going to be much in the way of sound. There's not going to be any in-game music either. Gameplay, well, as I said, it's if you were to go from this from the original arcade version to this, you'd notice that it was not as rapidly paced. It's not miles slower, but it is definitely slower, and the fact that the screen doesn't scroll means that you sometimes have nasty surprises at the edge of screens, either for suddenly not being able to walk onto the next screen, and then you jump out, then you jump in the next screen, only to find that there was a hydrant or a cactus or something just off screen. And when you got one of the ghosts suddenly appearing on the edge of the screen just as you're about to exit it, and it kills you when you've got no chance of being able to avoid it. So you're sort of panicking, do I need to jump just as I'm approaching the right-hand edge of the screen, or don't I? It's this should I, shouldn't I type thing, which isn't ideal. There's also some noticeable moments of slowdown when there are about 4 or 5 sprites on the screen. But the biggest problem I have with this game, more so than any of the other slight issues, is the hit detection. As you saw, there were points where I was killed by something when there was a very noticeable gap between me and the enemy in question. And that does unfortunately get incredibly frustrating at times, because obviously you really need decent hit detection for a game like this, and this port just doesn't have it. So I'm going to give Pac-Land for the ZX Spectrum 6 out of 10. For me, it's the bad hit detection that really ruins it, and the fact that the screen doesn't scroll. It's flick screen, which makes some things more irritating than they would have been had it scrolled. So anyway, hope that you enjoyed this video. Catch you on another one soon. Texie88 out.